Hi, I'm Jett, and I'm playing H.O.R.S.E today here on Full Tilt Poker. In Omaha, I actually I play Omaha probably tighter than most people do. I'm very content just to probably play a full round with maybe only playing 0 or 1 hand. In the 10 hands that were dealt in Horse before we go to the next game. I basically never play a hand that doesn't have an ace in it. I mean, under any circumstances, usually, I need ace deuce with, and you're looking for ace deuce with a couple other low cards, or ace 3 with your ace suited for sure. I mean, that's if I was teaching someone to play Omaha in 5 minutes, that would be kind of the starting requirements I would give them. I really firmly believe that it's impossible to play Omaha too tight, especially in a cash game. So, it's not that fun to watch, but it's if you have the patience for it, it's a great game to make money in. So, this hand here, 3-4-10 king, is a classic example of a little high and a little low. I mean, you have 2 bad high cards and you have 2 bad low cards. Which is any time that your 4 cards aren't working together in some way is it's a good indication that you shouldn't be playing the hand in Omaha. The more people that are used to playing Hold'em, when they look at an Omaha hand, they see all these combinations of oh, I had a pair, or I had a flush draw, or I had a low draw. But what you need to realize in Omaha is that if all your cards work together, you're playing like 16 hands against someone else that's playing. If their cards are split like that, they're only playing like 4 hands. But if all your cards work together, then your edge is very big. And in Omaha, this hand here is kind of on the fence. Ace 4 7 9 with the ace suited. I think probably a lot of people play that hand, but it's. It's easy. This is a big flop if I had played it, but it's a hand that it's easy to get into trouble with. Now in this horse game, we're playing Razz, which is the R in horse, obviously. The object of it is to make the best low hand. Ace deuce 3 4 5 is the wheel. That's the best hand. Straights and flushes don't count against you. So, as far as starting hands, you're looking for, a good solid Razz player is going to be looking for 3 cards, 7 or under, non-repeating, and you're just trying to make the best 5-card low hand. You can play some hands that have an 8 in them, but above that, you really, you don't want to be venturing out of that realm. Obviously, if the in Razz the high card brings it in instead of the low card in normal stud. So in this case, with the king of spades bringing it in, everyone folds up to the 4 of spades. Pretty much no matter what the 4 of spades has in his hand, he's going to raise, because it basically forces the king to fold. I mean, so it's he could have pocket kings and have the worst hand for sure, but he's still going to raise it there 100% of the time, and he's going to win the pot probably 99% of the time. A hand like this, where you actually have a good Razz starting hand in the hole, but you have the king up, it's a lot of people fall prey to chasing it or trying to peel one off there, and it's a very bad idea to do. You just, even if you think the person next to you is stealing from you, you don't want to start 1 card down to anybody. See, here's a situation I was talking about where I don't have that good of a hand, but with only 1 more low card to go, basically I'm just hoping that this guy has the 6 had a big card in the hole, and I can just pick up the antes there like I did. If it wasn't that exact situation, I'd never get out of line with the jack in the hole there. But when you just have one person to get by, one other low card to get by, you're about even money for them to fold there. So it's and that the bring-in is going to fold. So it's about if you haven't played a hand in a while like I haven't, then it's a pretty easy spot to pick it up. All right, here's a starting hand that is kind of right on the edge of playable or not. If this ace raises, then I would have gotten out, but seeing that he got out of the way, now basically it looks like I just have one person to get by here, the deuce of spades. I would have folded if the ace had raised, just because my hand was kind of right on the edge of being playable or not. 8, 7 deuce. You know, if it was a hand like maybe 7, 5 deuce, then I probably would play even if the ace had raised. But starting out with an ace 7 against someone that raises with an ace in relatively early position. Oh, we just switched to stud high. Stud high now, so low card brings it in. It's you know, in stud high, you're basically, you know, you're looking for pairs, preferably big pairs, or you know, 3 suited cards, or you know, high cards that are working together. You know, ace, king, queen, that kind of stuff to start with. Obviously, king, queen, deuce isn't going to do it. The Wolf Castle 33, who looks like he's trying to get all in, you know, went 3 bets before he did have the kings. The other guy started with a flush draw and backed into queens up. Kind of a bad beat there. All right, I'm low card here with a 9, which is kind of rare, but I've got split 9s. Queen raised it, and I'm just going to let it go. With all those big cards out for the queen to raise, you know, and basically under the gun, you know, the chances of him not having a big pair there are pretty rare. In this hand, you know, it's kind of strange bringing in with the 9. So I mean, you're not really, you know, enabled to see a lot of, you know, if someone else had brought it in and then there was a raise, I could kind of see where I'm at a little bit better. But for the queen to raise, basically under the gun after I brought it in, you know, with another queen behind him and all these other big cards, you know, it really, to me, I mean, it's a real sign of strength. And, you know, I just didn't want to mess around with that hand. Not to mention, you know, with a hand like 9-9 jack that I had, you're also, you know, you're kind of hoping to maybe back into a straight, you know, and 2 of the 10s are already gone. All the big cards are gone. You know, looks like a case where I'm going to be, you know, I'm going to be taking my 9s against 2 queens, and we're probably going to both catch a lot of low cards, which is, you know, isn't going to, you know, be good for me. So, but, you know, I'm only in for the bring-in, so it's just easier just to let that one go and, you know, find a battle that I'm more comfortable with. All right, here's a hand where you know, I've got pocket jacks with a low up card here. I'm gonna, you know, I'm just gonna limp along and see what the ace and the king do here. You know, the only way I probably would get out of this hand is if the ace had raised and then the king had re-raised. You know, that way I'd get out of the way because I'd be scared that the ace was gonna make it 3 bets. You know, that 4th Street card is not bad for me at all. You know, it gives me 3 to a flush. That's a real big card for my hand now. I'm going to go ahead and raise him. You know, me catching that ace, I wouldn't be surprised if he just has 3 big spades or just 3 spades. I wouldn't be surprised at all if, you know, if I'm ahead here. I think he's at this point, I think he's trying to get all in. So I'm going to help him out. Oh, he did have aces. So now we got to get lucky. And we did. That's the thing about stud, you know. I mean, in Hold'em, if you start with 2 jacks and you're against 2 aces, you're a 4.5 to 1 underdog, and you know you're in really bad shape. In stud, because you don't have the community cards, you know, having an underpair against an overpair, you know, it's not a great situation, but you're probably only a 60-40 underdog instead of a 80-20 underdog. So, you know, and in that case, I pick up a flush draw. So it's you know, my hand had a lot of different ways to go. So, you know, the thing with stud is, I mean, you make, you know, your best intelligent, you know, decisions, and sometimes you're wrong. In that case, you know, it looked like he might be trying to get all in because, you know, he was very low on chips, and you know, sometimes people will just push a draw that, you know, they shouldn't be pushing. You know, even if he had started with just 3 spades there, he's probably just gonna be frustrated and try to get his last $30 in, you know, in that spot. So here we have split jacks with a 4. Let's see what the ace does here. Calls. That's always, you know, it always kind of raises a red flag when an ace just calls like that, but it's usually a pretty good indication they don't have aces. Now if we can get by this king over here, I'll feel like I definitely have the best hand right now. So now it's me against the low card. The low card called my raise, so we'll, you know, I'll definitely play this hand aggressively until he gives me a reason not to. Yeah, there. He caught a queen, and then he took the action from me. I just went ahead and called. Now I made 2 pair. I'm going to go ahead and raise him. I think he's trying to scare me off there. So he might have queens and threes, but you know, by raising there, I don't have to bet the river now. And we'll see if he's got queens and yeah, he's got queens and threes. So by raising there, it just saved me. I mean, I put the same amount in because if I don't raise there, he's going to bet the river. You know, if he doesn't have queens and threes there, he might let it go. Here I've got 3, 5, 8 of hearts. You know, it's not a great hand, but it's one worth limping along. And if it gets raised, I'll call the raise. 3, 5, 8 is very good. 3, 5, 8 hearts is a very good stud high low hand. I'm glad we figured out it was stud high low. I have a monster in stud high low now. If they want to, I mean, with 2, 3, 5, 8 of hearts, I'll put in as many bets as they want here on 4th Street. Yeah. Probably wouldn't have raised even if I had realized it was stud high low there. If I remember right, there was an ace behind me, and you know, one of the things I do in stud high low is on 3rd Street try to keep the pot small unless I do have a hand like aces, you know, with a low card. You know, it's because one of the main pitfalls in stud high low is when you start with 3 good low cards, and then on 4th Street you catch a bad card. You know, if you've put in 3 bets on 3rd Street, then you're kind of obligated by the pot size to take one off there, and you know it can lead to getting into a lot of trouble. Where if you've managed to keep the pot small on 3rd Street, it's a lot easier just to let it go and go on to the next hand. So. Yeah, until your hand is more developed in stud high low. I mean, you know, hands that you want to play, you know, 100% of the time on 3rd Street. I mean, a hand like 2, 4, 5, you know, rainbow. You know, you want to play that basically. I mean, even if you're calling 2 raises with it. I mean, it's that strong of a starting hand. But you don't necessarily want to put in multiple bets because now if you catch a jack on 4th Street, if you haven't put in a lot of money on 3rd Street, you can comfortably fold it and not have to, you know, be in the position where you're really chasing. This hand is kind of interesting. I see so many people playing this type of hand in stud high low, and I mean, I think it's one of the biggest you know, problems in a lot of people's stud high low game is playing the big split pairs. I mean, I take it a little bit farther than most. I mean, I don't even, you know, as a rule, I don't play buried kings or queens, or you know, I just don't play big pairs. The problem with playing big pairs in stud high low is that you have people that are going to be hanging around in the hand with hands like ace 5, 8, for instance. Now they're just trying to make their low, and on 5th or 6th Street they're going to catch an ace on you, and you know, at that point you know that they either made their low, so you're going, you know, now you're playing for half, or they paired their ace and now they've got you in serious trouble. So you know, when you're in a hand with, you know, where you're playing a big pair against someone in stud high low and they catch an ace anywhere along the way, it either really helps their low, which, you know, most of the time it's going to have you splitting, or it pairs their ace and then, you know, now you're way behind. So I just avoid it. In stud high low, you know, basically you're really looking for 3 low cards, usually with an ace. Of course, having them, you know, suited helps a lot, but you know, you just want to start going low as a rule, and then maybe fall into a high. You know, is the best way. You know, like making a good low the first 5 cards, and then having a couple shots at you know, a gut shot for a straight or something against someone that's playing a couple pairs is the ideal situation in stud high-low. I mean, you don't make it every time, but when you do, it's, you're eliminating the chance of you getting scooped and trying to scoop other people. So hands like this, 4, 5, 9. If it was 4, 5, 8, I'd play it for for the $2 bring in. But because this is 8 or better stud, nines are kind of the worst card in the deck. So in stud high-low, as opposed to Raz, if a hand makes a low in stud high-low, a low has to be 8 or 5 cards, 8 or lower, non-repeating. Once again, just like Raz, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is the best low. But in Raz, I mean, a 10 low can win or a jack low can win. In stud high-low, one of the hands involved at the showdown has to be 8 or better for low in order to win. In this hand here, I tried to pick up the antes with an ace. The low card called me, but then he caught a big card, so it was a kind of a standard way to pick up the antes there, even though I didn't have much to start with. And in stud high-low, I had a king there, and I was going to be last to act. Even if no one had called, I was trying to steal from the low card in with big cards in this game is kind of like beating your head against a wall. This hand is one of those where if I wasn't the low card and somebody had raised, I'd probably let it go. But in this case, I'm gonna call the $6 raise here and see what happens. We both caught bad here, but I'm gonna let it go. In that case, I just I'm by having a pair in my in my hand and it's a bad pair. Then when I catch another high card, I mean my chances of making a low are basically shot. And for him to go ahead and bet his 10-3 into my king deuce, I have a feeling that my deuces aren't good in that spot. So here I got 2 queens under the gun, so we're going to go ahead and raise it. Pretty standard in limit hold'em. We got 3 bet by someone in middle position, so that's not great news, but we'll see the flop. Nothing scary came on the flop. I'm probably just going to go ahead and check and call this hand. Some people would try to do something more, but if he's bluffing, I'm going to let him bluff, and if he's got me beat, he's just going to have to take it. In that case, by just letting him, I mean, if he wants to 3-bet me with jacks and fire the whole